Oh, I'm somewhere. My seatbelt. I'm going to fall out of the review.
Hold on to your shorts.
Mom's Night Out was pretty crazy, you guys.
I don't like movies anymore.
Hijinks galore.
Does say, you want to take this one?
We went and we saw Mom's Night Out, and I think perhaps I didn't hate it as much as you guys did. I thought it was pretty harmless. It definitely wasn't my kind of movie, but I'd heard from some reviews that people were thinking it was sexist, and that was not how I interpreted it.
Sexist?
Yeah. I thought it was a little dismissive of anxiety issues.
That is what I was really uncomfortable with about this movie.
Because basically, like, this woman she's a stay-at-home mom, and her husband, Sean Astin, is, like, always gone. And she's having kind of a hard time keeping it together, and so she decides to plan this, like, girls' night out with her and two other ladies from church. Meanwhile, the husbands, like, lose the kids and accidentally steal their car, and it's just hijinks. And in the end, the moral of the story is, ladies, chill out, you're doing fine. And so, like, she's having issues with anxiety so intense that she's, like, not sleeping at night because she's staying up cleaning the house. She's getting stress paralysis wherein she needs to get up and deal with something but cannot unlock from the fetal position. And not a one person tells this woman, maybe you should see a psychiatrist.
Yeah, that honestly made this really hard to sit through for me. Mm-hmm. If you don't think about that when you're watching it, sure, maybe you'll perceive it as harmless, but I was constantly thinking about that through at least the first act of this movie, because that's when a majority of that stuff is. But what was also making me really uncomfortable was honestly the audience, because they thought that was hilarious. That clearly this person needs a psychiatrist bad and some medication. And she's playing it, the actress in the movie. If this movie were a drama about somebody with those issues, she'd be playing it the same exact way. Mm-hmm. Like,
it wouldn't be all cutesy, like, this is me trying not to have a panic attack.
Yeah. Yeah. She's having really manic episodes throughout the first act of this movie. Moments, as the movie calls it. And she's constantly in her head going through every single fantasy, foreseeable bad thing that could possibly happen, but most likely won't. Mm-hmm. And
like, things like her husband has a kind of, like, idiot man-child friend, and turns out he's coming over to help watch the kids, and so she's having these, like, images of, like, the kids tying them up with saran wrap, and the guy being like, hey, kids, here's a knife, who wants to touch it? And, like...
That was the best part of the movie.
Well, you guys should have stayed during the credits, because there was another part where him and Sean Astin were tied up to each other, and, man-child idiot friend was like, man, we watched My Cousin Kids, we put in a movie, everything was fine. Johnson's like, oh, what movie? Silence of the Lambs. Wah, wah, wah.
It's funny, because it's a hard R.
It's funny because it's got mangina. It's fun and informative. So, like, but I didn't find it sexist. I just found it really insensitive towards anxiety issues.
Yeah,
which, you know, like,
so did I.
No, but guys, it's okay.
Churchy
you don't
stuff
need
tends to be a little bit
help because Jesus will save you in the end.
Churchy stuff tends to be a little more like pull yourself up by your bootstraps, which I don't necessarily agree with. But I mean,
not
like
in this case.
The dialogue wasn't, overly like you can handle it, just just muscle through it. But the implications, I think, were more horrifying than the dialogue itself.
Because of the implication.
Because of the implication. You keep saying that word.
Yeah, this girl is one step closer to drowning her kids in the bathtub. Honestly. And they got an actress with crazy eyes, too.
She does have crazy eyes. And, like, her moments were so well acted that it made me uncomfortable, because like she was at one point they had like a reservation at a restaurant, and it turned out she'd made the reservation for next Saturday, not this Saturday, and so she starts doing like that white woman yelling where it's not so much volume but it's like quick little consonants.
Yeah, and it wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny. It was horrifying.
Yeah, it was horrifying.
And like her friends were having to pull her away from her because she was obviously having a nervous breakdown at this poor woman.
Yeah. Yeah, it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable because it's played so straight, and I'm supposed to be laughing at this. This isn't played like, you know, Eddie Murphy, Beverly Hills Cop, they got his reservation wrong, and so he makes up a thing about being Michael Jackson's reporter. You know, it wasn't, there was no laughs, there was no jokes.
We're all the Sausage King of Chicago.
Yeah. Honestly, I was thinking of Ferris Bueller sort of at the end in the jail when...
Oh yeah, he starts doing his Charlie Sheen speech.
Yeah.
The exact same thing.
It's like Charlie Sheen's speech, but just imagine Charlie Sheen's speech from Ferris Bueller if it involved Jesus.
Jesus wants you to be like Mama Eagle.
Yeah.
And just,
By the way,
just
you have some
be
drugs.
an eagle.
You need to be an eagle. This movie, I didn't really read the sexism so much either in it. Not so much. Because a lot of... Yeah, sort of like you. A lot of the headlines I saw of it were sort of like this movie just says that women need to stay in the kitchen. I didn't really...
I think that the insinuation that this movie was sexist is more sexist than the movie is, because these women made the active decision to be stay-at-home moms.
Yeah.
And the movie didn't say, yeah, that's the only way to do it. It said, you're doing fine, what you're doing is a job, just keep doing that. You know.
Did you read the sexism into this?
A little bit, yeah.
How so?
Well, just the idea that as soon as these women try and do anything for themselves, that the world goes to shit. That they need to be
This is the
at
wacky
home
hijinks, though. This wasn't God punishing them for leaving the house.
It also does that to the dads, too.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because, like,
Well,
yeah...
the men are idiots and the women are unstable messes.
Oh, yeah, well, this movie makes everybody look bad. Dads,
There was-
Yeah, this wasn't
moms.
nearly as much like the wacky husbands, functionally retarded, lose the kids almost immediately like the preview made it out to be.
They're pretty stupid.
They are stupid, I'll give you that. But they obviously, you know, aren't playing as active a role in the upbringing of their children as perhaps they ought to be, which is putting, like, Sean Astin in a position where he has no idea, so he just, like, takes the kids to Chuck E. Cheese because they'll get their hands stamped and they can't get out, like Shawshank Redemption. Or, like, the one dad who's terrified of luchadors, bikers, and small children, so luckily he has small children, and has
That was
absolutely no
weird.
idea how to take care of them, and I
Yeah.
got the impression it was because his wife was infantilizing him and kind of exacerbating that situation.
What did it really give a reason why the dads aren't really around all that much anymore? All
Sean
that much?
Astin, it seemed like his job was like an architect
Uh-huh.
of some sort, because he had like the plans for that house.
Yeah.
And his daughter's like, he's on a plane all the time, so maybe he has to like fly to the places where he's building stuff. I had no idea what the fuck moron dad did.
These people seem really, really well off in this movie. Like, they really do.
No,
they,
it's all white people problems.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, they seem well, at least a lot of them anyway, seem well off enough to where in the few years since they've had all these kids, it seems like there could have been at least some point where a lot of them could have gotten some help. In a lot of ways. In a
Yeah.
lot of ways. Be it like... be it
nanny?
like a nanny, a babysitter, medication, a lot. At the end of the movie where she's doing her mommy blog, which is just a spiel of nonsensicals,
Right,
random,
bullshit.
like...
If at first you don't succeed, sit down and have some cake, and then try again. This is all just like scrolling past on the screen. It's like
A lot
one
of-
one step like Doogie Howser music, short of Doogie Howser.
Yeah, a lot of capital letters, a lot of run-on sentences.
Like 5
It's-
billion exclamation points.
Yeah, it's... So at the end, when she's all calm and everything, replace Jesus with Zoloft, and we got ourselves an anti-anxiety commercial right here. This was... I don't know. I really hated this movie.
It was
I
an
hated this movie.
irredeemable piece of shit.
I hated everything about this movie.
Oh, hyperbolic Dave.
What did you say?
I said it's an irredeemable piece of shit.
Yeah, I would I would rather sit through God's Not Dead again, quite honestly.
I would too. At least I could laugh at that.
Well, this movie insults everybody. God's Not Dead didn't insult everybody so long as you're Christian.
No, every character in this movie was fucking stupid. It was really poorly written. It got a lot of weird facts wrong, which normally nitpick at that shit I don't care
#3
about.
on my Facebook.
Yeah,
That was weird.
That was like, I was like, oh, it's a MySpace joke. Hey, wait a second.
Yeah, that was like, okay, I know. Whoever wrote this movie fucking remembers MySpace, but assumes Facebook is the same goddamn thing because they probably see their kids on it.
But also knows from Pinterest. So probably written by what, like a 40-year-old woman?
yeah.
It's written by a couple of the Irwin brothers, I believe is what they're called. It's written by the Irwin brothers, who their previous works are religious movies, and you can tell looking at this movie. But I admittedly I haven't seen their other movie. I remember when it came out, it was called like October Baby or something like that. And which explains why Dave and I got this trailer at Heaven is for Real and God's Not Dead. This, I don't know. I can say this much, like, Trace Adkins was to this movie what Larry the Cable Guy was to Medea Christmas.
Yeah, he was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's a movie so bad that this character, who by all accounts should not be funny, and really isn't, but he did a fine job. You know what? Honestly, I'll say that about this movie. As much as I hate this movie, as much as I hate the nonchalantness of some very serious issues that this movie has, as much as I think that this movie is corrupt in every way, shape, or form, the acting's not bad.
No, not at all.
No, the acting is not bad, but the characters are so poorly written.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely.
That it's one of those movies where you could have the best actor in the fucking world in it, but they're still spewing just stupidity. So
Well, like Kevin Sorbo in God's Not Dead.
He was great, but he sounded like an idiot the whole time.
He gave a great performance in that movie, but he was playing an atheist, so he's a verbally abusive sociopath in that film. And the main girl, her name escapes me. When I first saw the trailer for this movie, for the first half of the trailer, I thought it was Jenna Fisher. Patricia Heaton is fine, although I don't know what the deal is with movies. Every time you have, no matter where the movie takes place, if you have the wife of a minister, she's always
Southern.
has a Southern accent.
I don't know where the hell this movie was supposed to take place. They showed like a flyover of a city. I don't know what city it was.
Did you pick up? I don't know, I assumed
I'm
it
not
was
sure
in...
either.
It must have been the South, because it wasn't just her that has a Southern accent. A lot of the ladies in that church did too.
But I think it was, I don't think so much because it was taking place in the South, but just, you know, a stereotypical church mom lady usually has a Southern
are
accent
there.
in them. Yeah, but no one else really does unless they're like, you know, Reverend Lovejoy's wife in this film. It looked, some of the city shots in it, I mean, I could be so wrong, but some of the exterior shots in it seemed to me like it was along the West Coast. But maybe not. I don't know. That's kind of the vibe that I got, especially at the end when she's kind of sitting there and like the sunrise in the background and everything. Even the way that some of the houses look, I could be totally wrong, but that was just the vibe that I got from looking at it. Oh man.
For me, like, this movie was not so bad for me that I got annoyed by it, so it kind of fell into the chasm on the line of quality where my natural easygoingness just makes me go, man, whatever. Like, because if this movie had been, I was thinking the whole time, if this movie had been written like 10 years ago, it would have been a made-for-TV movie starring Deborah Messing with fucking Joe Mantegna playing Bones. And I would have watched that movie.
Yeah, because
So I just kind of sat through it and like, oh, okay, that just happened. That lady needs some Prozac.
Yeah, very goddamn much so. Did you guys recognize who played the irresponsible gamer
I looked
friend.
him up. It's a dude from a bunch of Christian movies. That's all he's been
Really?
in.
He looked
Yeah.
really familiar.
He
to
looks
me.
like someone else, and I'm trying to.
Yeah, the girl with the glasses looked really familiar to me too. She looked a little. I don't know.
Yeah, Izzy looked like I must have known her from something.
Izzy
I couldn't place
looks.
her.
She looked a little bit like one of the girls from Freaks and Geeks, but it's not her.
She looked a little bit like Nikki from Lost.
Yeah.
Of Nikki and Paolo fame. I don't know if it was her, but she looked a little bit like her.
She had that kind of like squinchy bitch face, but cool blonde lady look.
Uh huh.
Nah, she's also from a bunch of Christian movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Apparently, these Christian movies all have doppelgangers. It's really fucking with me. This one has Jenna Fisher doppelganger. Even though this girl I have seen in other stuff. I just can't fucking think of what off the top of my head. She was on some show, but I can't. God damn it, I can't fucking remember.
Whoa.
Brr.
Help us in the comments.
Yeah. No, don't do that because I'll have looked it up by then.
Help me in the comments because I'm lazy. But, Trace Atkins did good. Irresponsible man-child guy did good. He was pretty much the only character besides, obvious anxiety issue woman that had a character arc. Because at the beginning he hated children, and by the end, he had bonded with the giant mass of them that kept getting lost to different places. And so at the end, it turns out that he's got them in the house. Oh no, he's teaching them how to juggle knives. And so she goes back and he's got them just on him and he's reading them a book.
And this movie just got weird. They spend a majority of the time going around looking for the sister-in-law's missing baby.
Yeah, it's she had left it with her baby daddy, and he left it with Bones.
Yeah.
And Bones left it with baby daddy's ex-girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend left it God knows where so she could go drink at the bar. This movie also had a very anti-alcohol stance.
Shocker. Here's what happened when you don't go out and drink.
It just presented itself at random spots, Cerise and she's a recovering alcoholic. Oh no, she went to go drink. And the part where they're at the bowling alley and there's a couple beers on their table and Patricia Heaton's like, oh, we have to hide these. And
the other girl from the church sees her and is like, oh no.
Scandalous.
Oh my god, yeah, scandalous. She's got a Miller High Life in her hand. If this movie taught me anything, it's that you should drink when you go out, or else this shit happens. They handled the baby stuff really weird in this.
They handled the baby stuff weird. They handled the parakeet thing weird.
Oh, that gets sat on and killed?
Yeah, there's a parakeet named Mama. And the guy sits on it and it dies. Pretty much so later when the cops pull them over, the kid's gonna be like, he killed Mama!
Yeah, when a lot of the shenanigans stuff was going on, I was like,
but you know what's
your
not
baby
funny?
is...
A tiny bird being crushed to death.
Well, yeah, I mean, this didn't do that.
I didn't mean to derail you, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. If I want to see something bad happen to a parakeet, I'll watch Dumb and Dumber, goddammit. Pretty bird, pretty bird.
I'll watch Batman Returns. Ouch.
Oh, yeah. That's right. And when a lot of the shenanigans are going on, I'm sitting there like, your baby's still missing.
Yeah.
Were you thinking that too?
I was thinking that too, and then, at the end when they finally find the baby, because, they find the baby by chance, regardless, but there's this big force of the police and a local biker gang and a local church biker group, and they're all working together to find this baby, and in my brain all I'm going is, the cops would have sent all you dumb fucks home. Get on your bikes, ride the fuck away. Also, I loved, and it's just the stupid facts they get wrong in this movie. The girl's like, I was filling out a missing person report because we couldn't find you for 3 hours.
Right? Yeah, that was
3
odd.
hours! 3 hours! They wouldn't tell you to fuck off.
Mom's been gone for 3 hours, file missing persons report. And this jokes in this movie are so, CBS primetime sitcom. Patricia Heaton's in it, but the audience made it feel like that even more. Because,
They
okay,
were laughing at everything.
they laughed at every parts that I'm not even sure were jokes the audience were laughing at. But not only that, when something like cutesy happened, like the frames that she puts around her kids' drawing on the wall, the audience is like, all the audience made up of largely older women, were all like, "Aww," and then like. When something happened later on, like, I don't know, maybe when the girl's ex-boyfriend was caught in the restaurant and the audience is like, whoa, ooh, like, what fuck am I watching this with a studio audience? Oh. They had fun. The audience did.
Bless their hearts.
Yeah, good for them. They could have saved their money and just watched TV, though.
But like little bowling alley girl, the half sister of the main girl, I thought was the only one with a right to be freaking out to this extent.
Oh yeah, but to me she didn't freak out enough.
No, she didn't. And then like
If
the
they
redheaded
hadn't
broad,
found the baby, she would have been like, fuck it, I'll just go back to my job.
and then redheaded broad and Patricia Heaton were just like having those, again, the crazy rich white woman hissy fits over like every little thing.
I do appreciate that, and I'm going a long way to compliment this movie, but this is easily one of the worst things I've seen all year. I do appreciate the fact that they didn't just make Patricia Heaton's character a bitch.
Yeah, she was. I think that's the nicest character I've ever seen her play.
You're right. Certainly wasn't in Beethoven. Yeah, you're honestly.
Fucking Beethoven.
Remember that? Her and David Duchovny get dragged around by Beethoven. No, now Charles Grodin's not going to get his job.
But even so, there's a part where they're at the police station, and these three bitches decide that it's an awesome idea for them to sneak in back, corner a police officer, an armed police officer, and start verbally berating him all at the same time. They justifiably got tased.
Yeah, in real life it wouldn't even been tased, it would have been beat.
I don't know about that.
Wait,
Take it to the corner where there's no cameras and just fucking beat.
Admittedly, I thought you were going somewhere else with that. I thought you were going to say, no, they would have just shot her.
See, that I could understand.
Fuck you, Patricia Heaton. This is for not letting Ray go golf. I assume that was an episode.
It probably was.
I don't know. My dad would like Everybody Loves Raymond a lot, and I would see it every now and then, and would spend the whole time going, why isn't this couple divorced?
If they were to remake The Burbs, I think she would play Carrie Fisher.
Oh yeah, I could totally see
Put her
that.
in like a gigantic sweatshirt.
You're just gonna lounge around the house, Ray? Well, yeah, because Tom Hanks' name in the movie was Ray.
It's perfect.
Actually,
Double greenlit.
I think, was her husband's in this movie's name Ray? I heard her yell out Ray at one point.
I don't remember.
Maybe.
He only showed up like everywhere. He was like a block of wood.
He was the
minister
minister.
with a short sleeve shirt on.
What did you think of this compared to Single Moms Club?
This was for me. This was far more tolerable than Single Moms Club.
For me,
Because that I thought was way more sexist than this was.
I agree with that. I 1,000% agree with that. This one, for me personally, was a lot harder to sit through. This is a more well-made movie than Single Moms Club.
The Single Moms Club was just past that easygoing chasm that I was talking about, where and I think it was just the dialogue was just slightly better written in this, and the cinematography was just slightly less terrible.
Yeah, it was. I'll give it that. Just a lot of the issues that this movie had. I found this to be a much harder sit. Even though I agree with what you're saying. Like, Single Moms Club was way more sexist than this. Holy crap.
Okay, Daddy.
Oh my god.
That's
Single
right.
Club, I mean, everything's solved by dick.
Was it? I can't remember.
The origin and solution to all of life's problems.
Was that the moral of that movie? I can't remember. It feels like it's been forever since we saw it.
The moral of the movie is you can't have everything, girl. Girl, being a mom is hard.
Tyler Perry, it's all about family, faith, and dick.
Family, faith, and dick. Words of wisdom from Dave.
No, that's Tyler Perry's words of wisdom.
I'll have to take your word for it. You've seen far more of his movies than I have. What trailers did we get in front of this?
I didn't have my pen, so I didn't write them down.
We got that hilarious trailer with the Jim Caviezel sports movie.
Oh, yeah.
The Jillian movie.
Oh yeah, Jillian will see that. It's a sports movie, and
It's like some high school football team
oh yeah,
has like a winning streak, and then they lose a game, and everything goes to shit.
turns into the Purge as soon as they lose this game. Holy shit! Like we talked about it when we saw it. We of course we got the trailer for that in front of $1 Million Arm, but
We got the trailer for that tonight, too.
no, we got like
Yeah, we got like a sneak peek.
Oh,
yeah.
was that a sneak peek? I thought that was the actual trailer for this.
Narp.
No, it wasn't in there with the regular trailers. That oh my god though, that trailer for When the Game Stands Tall, I think that's what it's
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
It holy shit, like Jillian like
That was the stupidest name too. I'm sorry.
I couldn't remember the trailer last week. I was like, it had a long title, and I was sitting. Jilly got mad at me because I laughed when like there was gunfire in. I was like, it's just a game, people. Oh my god. What the fuck else did we get?
We got Earth to Echo again.
Oh, Earth to Echo.
Which, whatever.
I don't understand why it's a found footage movie.
I don't
understand
I don't
why
understand
they're
why those
making
children have so many cameras.
That good of cameras.
That little thing is adorable though.
Oh yeah, it looks like batteries not included crossed with Super 8.
And DT.
Oh yeah.
Wally.
Well, yeah, a little of Chronicle thrown in there with the
Yeah.
found footage, and
And that stupid robot owl. I can't remember its name.
I don't understand why it has to be found. Honestly, I don't think it looks terrible. I just don't get why it's a found footage movie. I mean, admittedly, I said the same thing about Chronicle, and I loved that. Mm-hmm. There was what was that Chloe Moretz movie?
Oh,
Oh,
she was like a cellist.
If I Stay.
She loved Yo-Yo Ma.
I love it. Her locker has
You
a
can
little
tell she
thing
just
that,
plays the cello because her locker has a sticker that says "I heart Yo-Yo Ma."
yeah. I heart Yo-Yo Ma. Oh my god, I want that sticker.
I too heart Yo-Yo Ma.
Who doesn't heart Yo-Yo
But
Ma?
she's playing the cello, and it's all like, oh yeah, Juilliard, but then she gets hit by like her car gets in an accident, and she's in a coma, and the rest of the movie is all like, should I not be in a coma, or should I just go ahead and let myself die?
I'm sorry, I just caught the monitor, and this angle sort of with Dave sort of looks like the beginning of Mitchell with Joe Don Baker passed out in the back of the cop car.
My Mitchell.
There's a police investigation going on in here.
That Mitchell's so bad.
Shut your mouth.
We're just talking about Mitchell.
Mittens? Our cop's name is Mittens? Joe Don Baker is Mittens. He's a cop. There was some. We got this last week, but Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad
Oh
Day.
my god.
Right?
That like moment of revelation when I'm like, well, this movie looks dumb, it's kind of harmless. And then the title pops up and I'm like, oh no.
I did the same thing because I read that book when
Yeah, was
years
this
ago.
part of somebody's like?
You don't
childhood
remember that book?
Yeah, it was like just a little children's book. Alexander's No Good,
Terrible, Horrible,
I
No
never
Good, Very
Very
Bad
Bad
Day.
Day.
Read
This is basically
kids
about this.
books when I was a kid.
It was like a 10-page book
Besides,
where like
like-
he has a bad day at the end.
Yeah, that's what it is.
No.
It's Jillian didn't remember it either, but I did the same thing when I saw the trailer for this. I'm like, I don't understand why Steve Carell is in this, but okay. And then it gets to the end and says the title, and I'm like, in the theater, I did the same thing as you. I was, what?
Took some liberties.
I understand that it has to take some liberties because it's only like a 10-page book, so like I get that, but the trailer doesn't even look like it's about him. It's about like his parents, because his parents are played by A-list celebrities, so of course it's about them. But then at the end, when the kid is like, what's he say in the trailer? It was something like,
We gotta take the good days and the bad
believe
days.
me, I know. Kid, you're 5.
But
like, you
like,
haven't had a bad day yet, man.
like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, was a pretty good movie, and they expanded that from just like a wee little book and How to Train
Oh,
Your
yeah.
Dragon. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be bad, but it didn't look very good.
No, not really. Not really. No. Oh, Annie. We got Annie.
We did get Annie.
God. If I,
I'll go to that one.
Annie.
yeah, you go to that one. That's fine.
I
with me.
like musicals.
I don't have
It
any.
didn't like I was a little
I hate musicals.
perturbed by
I
the hip hoppy aspects that they added to the songs, but
Well, it's
it wasn't like Great
produced by
Gatsby bad.
Jay-Z.
So
Is it produced by Jay-Z?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I
Wasn't
want-
it at one point produced by Will Smith? Because wasn't it
I think it
gonna
was
be
Will
a
Smith
Willow.
and Jay-Z. I think
Okay.
that And it-
Willow, yeah,
Yeah.
because she was like, no, I don't want to. I just want to be a kid for a while.
What?
I don't know.
Think about that. I'm gonna go be in Winter's Tale.
I hate musicals. I especially hate Annie, and that looks worse than Annie.
That's what I mean. I don't have any fondness for Annie, so for me, it looks eh. I mean, I don't think it looks horrible by any means. I don't have any fondness for the original movie. And I like musicals. I do like musicals.
I don't really give a shit about the movie. I have fondness for some of the songs, though.
Some of the songs I think are fine. Some of the songs I think are catchy. I just always
Yeah,
found
Sun Will
that
Come Out Tomorrow's catchy. Never Fully Dressed Without a Smile. The one about New York.
the movie I just always found kind of annoying.
Hard Knock Life.
Yeah.
Like Cameron Diaz looked kind of funny.
Cameron Diaz
Miss
looks
fucking
like
Haversham or
she's
whatever.
overdoing the shit out of it. Like it looks like she's having fun.
Girls, girls.
Just dressed as bad teacher. Why is she in charge of
Wearing
this
like
orphanage?
5 scrunchies. It's so weird. I don't think it was an orphanage. I think she was just like fostering 5 girls.
Oh, okay. Okay. I barely remember the original. Last time I saw the original was, I don't know, it was maybe like 12.
It was pretty uneventful. It's like Annie is at an orphanage, adopted by Daddy Warbucks. Miss Haversham gets wind and like concocts some weird like pretend parents situation for Annie. Everything turns out okay.
Yeah. I remember that everything turned out fine. I remember the part when they go to the movies. I don't think that was it in terms of the trailers. Do you got any final thoughts on Mom's Night Out?
Ugh.
I'm trying to convince Dave that we should go as Mr. Wink and Mr. Kid for Halloween.
Do it, dude!
It's tough going.
And I keep saying that as a man that is losing his hair, the idea of putting on a bald cap is not something I look
Well,
forward
you
to.
can be Crispin Glover's dad then, and I'll be Walrus.
Yeah.
You get like some flaming kebabs.
I'll be,
You could be Thumper.
I thought you meant the rabbit! God damn it! I'll
Ooh la la.
be James Bond in the scene where he wears that sweet turtleneck with the tan blazer.
Oh no, baby blue terry cloth robe.
Fuck yeah. I hated this movie. I hated so much about this goddamn thing. It's easily it's easily one of the most uncomfortable thing I've sat through so far this year. Dear fucking God, I cannot recommend this fucking thing.
So much of it just isn't in my brain anymore.
Nah, yeah, I mean, come tomorrow. Come tomorrow, I'll be fine, because tomorrow's Godzilla.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 months from now, you could be like, oh yeah, you went and saw that Mom's Night Out, and you'd be like, you did too, and I'd be like, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good times.
Such good times. I remember loving that movie.
And Dave punched me in the jaw.
Is that after the stroke?
I had a stroke. Now I think this movie's awesome. I'm gonna go see it again.
Jesus gave me a stroke so that I could understand the deeper meaning.
He's a shrewd movie producer. Hey.